All right. Hey, everybody. Thanks so much for tuning in to the WTCF podcast. It's me, Charlie. And this week I wanted to talk about the book, The Go-Giver. So I had a chance to go ahead and do the audiobook for the book in the last week. And it runs about 3 hours, but I normally try to listen at double speed. So there is a way to kind of manipulate that one. And if you wanted to find more free audiobooks, if you have a library card, Hoopla. So Hoop LA. So HOOP la.com, and you can actually use your library card to log in, and you can get tons and tons of like audiobooks and ebooks for free. You can get music. There's all kinds of stuff on there. There's movies. So there's tons and tons of stuff on there from your local library. Definitely take advantage of it if you can. So I wanted to go ahead and read The Go-Giver because it's shown up on a couple of other lists of self-improvement, philosophy, business, relationship style books. So I wanted to go ahead and check it out. And when I saw that it only ran for 3 hours, I go, this is perfect, right? It's not that long of a book compared to some of the other ones, like the Einstein one was 11 hours. So again, I wanted to be able to focus in on something that was a little bit different than the regular business stuff that I was kind of looking into. And lo and behold, there's a bunch of business information in it. But the main concept is of adding value to somebody else's life to continue to give. And one of the things that I think about and what I want from the companies that I'm involved with, especially with the collective, is I want to be able to add value to people's lives. Like being able to move your body effectively for a very long time adds a lot of value to your own life, right? I don't think any of us want to get to a spot where, we can't get off the toilet, or, it's painful to do the regular day-to-day stuff that we've grown accustomed to. And instead of avoiding those things, that we can look at these challenges and then face them head on and attempt to go and improve. So I want to be able to add value as much as I can to other people's lives. So the very first one is the law of value. And it's determined by the value that we bring to others. By focusing on serving and enriching the lives of others, individuals can build strong relationships, establish a positive reputation, and create a foundation for lasting success. So, for myself, to find ways to give unconditionally, again, started up a website for Grundis Yoga Lift. Link that to a YouTube page where there's over 350 videos on, exercises. So if people wanted to just start and they had no idea how to get started, there's 350 videos of exercise movements to go ahead and start your practice. And you're like, well, you know what? I have a problem with nutrition. There's dozens upon dozens of recipes that are on there from individuals that I follow, and I give them the credit where it's due. And then there's ones that I've made for myself and ones that I actually cook on a regular basis. So I want to be able to offer that, and then to offer other things like articles and book reviews and all this, and just give more information and knowledge to people so they can have a better opportunity to go through life than I did. I want everyone's lives to be easier. I want everyone to win. So the idea is, if I continue to give good information, and maybe I can just start to up some of the production quality of that, and maybe it'll work better. But again, you have to go ahead and get started and think that my goal here is I want to add value to other people's lives. So I want them to be able to live better. The second law that comes out of this one is the law of compensation. By adding value to people's lives, individuals can attract an abundance and enjoy financial rewards that align with the impact that they create. So, what I wanted to really think about for this one is, if I spend the time doing law one, right, and add value, add value, add value, eventually there's going to be a recognition of trust, right? That I go above and beyond, that I do a good job, that this is how I'm going to go ahead and behave. And individuals will be more prone to come work with me because I'm going to build a reputation of being a good, giving individual. So, like, here's all the stuff that I want to go ahead and help others with. And maybe they'll realize, well, hey, this guy's not going to try to take advantage of us. Let's go ahead and work with the guy for a little bit. Hopefully that's something that's kind of working now, right? I love working with people one-on-one. Group fitness stuff is fun, but I still get this really big kick when people start to understand that they can be incredibly strong, and especially when they start to believe in themselves a little bit, and building that trust in themselves is usually something that makes me really, really happy about life. The next one is the law of influence. And this one took me a second because it seems like, we would go ahead and create influence, and that power is what goes ahead and gets us that influence, like us having power over other people. But instead, it encourages us to focus on meeting the needs of others and cultivating meaningful connections, embracing empathy and kindness. By being a person of influence, individuals can create a positive impact and inspire to achieve their highest potential. So it's not so much of the power that I have that puts over to you, it's how much I care about you succeeding in your goals, the things that are really important to you to get to the finish line, and spending that time listening and understanding. Now, I can definitely learn a lot from this one. I do have a problem of not shutting the hell up. I can recognize that of myself. And I think that like being a know-it-all is going to make me more influential. But what I really got out of this book is, well, if I'm not paying attention to where people are going, how do I send them in the right direction? So today, for a really good example, I was working with Karina's son, Blake. He wanted to get a little bit stronger. Doesn't kind of just wants to understand what he needs to do in the gym. He wants to get good at pull-ups. The very first thing goes, I can do a pull-up. I want to do more. So like let's learn about that, right? And then be empathetic to listening to how his stuff is working. Why does he want to go ahead and do this? And then start to give him a couple of good options that'll get him to the finish line on that one. So again, we work on things like lat pull downs, really making sure that we get the form. Then it's set up bands and see if we can practice working the negative of a pull up. Can we change grips? And then my cousin shows up who's awesome at pull-ups. So we start including him into the mix, and then we're finding all of these great bits of advice to go ahead and give and make sure that we can help Blake be able to do more pull-ups. And at the end of it, he was really like happy with himself. We had him benching. We were able to fix a lot of his bench, and he was doing fantastic by the time he was getting out of there. Again, his form was breaking down because he was tired. Like we beat him up a little bit. So definitely recognizing that it's not so much of like an instructor or somebody telling you where you need to go. It's you need to go ahead and work with that person to say, well, I'm going in this direction. How do you help me? And then that's where I can do my best. And that's kind of this law of influence. It seems to be kind of backwards, where it's just like, I need to be a little bit more subservient to the people that I work with so I can encourage them to get to their finish line instead of overpowering and say, you're going to get to the finish line and I told you, right? Like you're not good enough. No, you're perfectly fine the way that you are in any and all things that you do. However, if you're not impressed with yourself, if you're not happy with yourself, you get to set that standard. So hopefully you can find people who want to go ahead and encourage that. So again, finding a developing, building community. So I really like that one. I thought it was good. And then the law of a law of authenticity, and this is one of the things that I think I picked up the most when I was working with Core Power Yoga, and to be authentic to myself and not to behave outside the scope of my own expectations of my life. Like doing yoga, I liked to make jokes. I liked playing with the playlist. I liked getting people to think about the postures as they work through it. And now as I've evolved into this new setup, like how do I go ahead and encourage people to find the right movement patterns for them? How do I get them to actively be involved in the thought process of how to improve? So we're not just exercising to get tired and say, well, I did my exercise. Like I did my exercise and I'm going to get stronger in X. I'm going to get stronger in Y. I'm going to do better in Z, whatever it is. And to be authentic and really recognize that I'm going to have some limitations on how I approach some things, and kind of recognize that I'm still going to go and do the best that I can with it. The highlight is that genuine relationships and trust are built on authenticity and integrity. By staying true to who we are, we attract like-minded individuals, foster meaningful connections, and lead a purpose-driven life. And one of the things that I've had to go ahead and work on over the last few years, again with like even outside of the scope of fitness, of alcoholism, and recognizing that I thought that was a character trait, and it turns out it was a pretty major character flaw of myself, and it no longer was serving me. And I spent my time around a lot of other people who were drinking. Back when I was a heavy cigarette smoker, I spent my time around smokers. So now as I go ahead and look at it, what is the authentic me, and then how do I spend time around other like-minded individuals that are going in a relatively similar direction, right? Like they're trying to go ahead and build something really crazy and creative with their life. And, they're trying to go ahead and recognize hardship and see it as a stepping stone into better and better things of their own personal development. And I love the concept of trying to help with that. The last law on here is the law of receptivity. So it's not so much that we go out into the world and we become, giving individuals, empathetic. I think the real good idea that comes out of this one is I started thinking about plants. So they're saying in there, it's like the air that we breathe out is full of carbon dioxide. So the plants will go ahead and take that, they'll convert it into oxygen for us. So then we use the oxygen, and then it's this reciprocal act of being able to give and being recognizing that it's okay to accept these things and it's okay to go ahead and ask for help. And I think a lot of us are stubborn and stupid that we don't go ahead and ask for help when we need to, when it comes to things like addiction or things that are really tough for us to go ahead and deal with. Maybe there's some mental issue with ourselves where we think less of ourselves, or we're depressed and we don't ask for help. I think there's plenty of situations where we seem like it is perfectly okay to go ahead and ask for help and be receptive to somebody else giving out there to help you get through it. So again, not just going out there and trying to do the right things, but looking for the right things that you can take back in and then help yourself even further. So I don't want to spend a ton more time, kind of going through it. I wanted just to be able to go through the laws really, really quickly and kind of give some of the bits and pieces of my life that have helped me get to this spot. And hopefully I can use this book going forward to develop a very authentic and unconditional giving within my own life. Because again, we're not on an island. Humans are very social creatures, and part of these things that make for a difficult life, I've started to ask for explicitly, because then it gives me a better opportunity to grow from it, from the hardships that we go through. So I know that I've not been empathetic. I know I've been locked into my stoic mindset of like, none of this really matters, but like only a few things do. But now I can go ahead and start to look at it from, how do I continuously help more people do awesome and amazing things with their lives? So if there is something that's really, tough that's out there, know that you have support. All you have to do is just ask for a bit of help. And on that note, good luck.